welcome to France.
Merci. Thank you.
Welcome to Virgin Mega. Really pleased to talk to you. It's about your very first album.
Yeah,
It's called Happiness,
it is.
and it sounds a bit like a kind of joke to give it a title, such a title like that. To be dressed really stiff and striped, and to use some happy words and happiness, to sing about joyous things in kind of sad attitude.
Yeah,
Is it what
it's
you intend to
funnily,
do?
funnily enough, it's not really. We call it Happiness because it's when we started the band we were very unhappy. I mean, with the band's called Hurts for a reason, because we were kind of unemployed, and when we finished making the album, we were finally happy, I think, and also all the songs are about the pursuit of happiness and trying to be happy, which is often quite sad eventually. But yeah, so it was quite important we called it that. I think that it was because there's a lot of that in the album.
We're much happier than we used to be. Just about.
A friend of mine once wrote about a style of music, and he tells me that there was a kind of suffering with style.
Yeah.
I think it's a good definition of your work, is suffering with style.
That could be a good way to put it. Yeah.
You're from Manchester, and the fact that you're coming from a city like that, is it kind of overshadows the fact that there's a young generation of musicians, and you often reference to Joy Division or New Order and things like that.
It kind of, I mean, in some respects it does, but in a lot of respects, being from Manchester it's been a great thing for us, because it's quite inspiring that a lot of bands have made it from Manchester and people have been successful and stuff. It's quite an inspiring thing. But I think that what's happened recently is there's been lots of bands come out of there, so the older bands exist separately now. So it's a good feeling, but I think it's very important for our music. So it's kind of good, and you're always going to get grouped in with people. But I guess it's in some ways it's a compliment.
I don't think we could have made the album without Manchester. It was where we met each other, where we learned painfully over 4 years how to write pop songs, and where we had a lot of experiences. And I can hear Manchester in every song on the album.
Do you feel close to Delphic?
Well, we're friends with him actually, Delphic, and all the others, everything, and the other ones. Because the amazing thing about a lot of these bands is that we've all been trying to get somewhere for a very long time, and the great thing with the new bands that have come out of Manchester is that there's no competition, because everyone's very different, and so everyone's just kind of happy that the city's doing well, and it's not a difficult time. It's a nice time, because you can just listen to their music by itself. So it's cool.
Delphic are into pop, classic pop, like David Bowie and Velvet Underground, and they said that when they come to a club to hear some electronic music, they come back to their studio and record something which is a mixture of their pop sensibility and their rock and pop background. Is it your case too?
I think for them it comes through live a lot. We saw them in Japan, and it was a lot different live than it was on record, because there they were a rock band that were playing dance music, which was very cool. But it's not really the same for us.
We don't really go to nightclubs, so we can't.
We used to.
We used to, but then we ran out of money, so we didn't.
You met in a club?
Yeah, we met outside a nightclub.
Because of a fight?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Is
No,
it true?
it wasn't our fight. We were fine.
Oh.
There's no need to be sorry. It was the idiots that were fighting that we got
It's
to
a
play.
cool story.
But I mean, well, what we've tried to do is we love pop music too, and we'll always make pop music, and I think, but it's about making it sound interesting and making it sound exciting for people, which is the biggest challenge of all. And I think somebody like obviously Delphic have got a similar idea.
And you like to make it sound really theatrical,
Yeah.
dramatic.
especially live,
Yeah.
because the live we try and be. It's like an extension of the album. It's the album, but it's bigger. It's one step further. It's more dramatic. We've got more musicians involved. It's an elaborate version of the album. So we're not just pushing play on a tape, which is taking a long time to prepare and arrange, and
I guess-
it makes it exciting for people.
The drama comes from when we made the record. Our world was so small. Like, we were unemployed. We lived in a tiny little apartment, and we couldn't even. Like I said, we couldn't even go to the pub. So we had such a tiny world. It just was the two of us that we made this huge, dramatic music as a way of escape, really. And the more the more dramatic, the better most of the time.
Is it a challenge to use small equipment, some tiny elements to get something really huge and pompous? Is it a challenge?
You'd think it would be, but in fact, limitations are really good, I think. If you only have a small collection of sounds to call upon, it makes decisions simpler. That's why there's only two of us, because we like simplicity. Everything's easier when there's less.
Yeah. And on a computer, when you instead of using analog synths, if you use digital synths, you can possibilities are endless. You can do whatever you want with them. They can be timeless, which is the most exciting thing about it, I think.
Do you think about the stage layout, your dressing layout and design when you're recording sound? Do you think in pictures and image?
It's interesting you should say that, because a lot of the time when with the visuals and the visual side of the band, it does help us to write music, and likewise the music helps us make the videos, obviously. So it's important that you've got both, because if you make a world around yourself, you can understand what you're writing music for, which is kind of a good thing. And live it's the same thing again. They kind of all help each other, but yeah, it's very visual, I think.
Are you inspired by German expressionist
Yeah, well,
cinema and black and white movies?
lots of that, and lots of Italian cinema as well, and people like David Lynch and all kinds of stuff like that. And yeah, I guess one thing is people who make normal things seem interesting. It's quite exciting.
And what about disco lente?
Yeah.
I heard about this style. Is it something that appeals to you, or is it just a tag? Or
Well, it was just something at the beginning. It was because we've always liked European pop music, like Italo disco and things like that. And it was at the beginning for us. It was a nice, because we were very lost at the beginning. We didn't know what we were kind of doing. We were writing these songs, but we had no direction, and that kind of helped us a lot. And like I say, Italians write great pop music. They always have.
and you still think there's some new Italian disco lente or pop group, interesting group nowadays?
Well, we went there last week to Milan, and we got some CDs from the record company, but we've not listened to them yet, so we'll find out soon. But in the 90s, it was big for Italians. There was a point in the 90s when Italians ruled the British charts. It was like about 95, 96. It was like dance music, Italian dance music. It was like all over the place.
So there's honesty and sincerity in a lot of European music that you don't perhaps get in England. There's a purity to the words and the lyrics.
And the emotion.
I think that's something we've taken.
Is it the case for your lyrics too? You like to write something really poetic but really simple, humble lyrics?
Yeah, I think so. It's about we've always liked simplicity in things, and I always think there's a lot of power in a simple message, I think. And if it's sort of said in an interesting way is a cool thing. And yeah, you kind of just have to write about things that you know and that make sense to you, because then the emotion comes out. Because we need that in the songs, that kind of intense emotion. So the only way you get that is by writing about things you know.
And my last question: do you think that because you use something really pure, really simple, black and white pictures, is a way to let people make their very own pictures and their very own movies?
It's the whole point in Hertz, really, that, to be honest.
Great observation.
If you can have more depth to what you do, then people can use their imagination and they imagine what a world is like, even though we've only kind of given away a small amount. So
if you give them 50%, we always loved music that's done that. Give somebody 10% or 50%, and whatever they make up in their mind is, you kind of give it away to people to make up what they want with, and it's something that's always excited me. It's nice that people interpret things in a very different way. It's what excites us the most, that you just go, here you go.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Thanks.
Cheers.